Hey everybody, we are going to do garden tour number 9, and today we are going to talk about squash bugs and garden fences. So the garden is looking a little worse for wear. Finally stopped raining today. So thought we'd take a look at what we've got going on. And carrots are coming up pretty well. And the cucamelons are starting to climb again that I've trimmed all down. The banana peppers are looking awesome for the most part and blooming. I still have one loofah. I am still fighting the squash bugs off of this plant. Everything is looking pretty rough. Got some radishes coming up there. Potatoes are close to time to be dug. Got some carrots coming up in there. Spinach is coming out. Pest pressure this year has just been terrible. Got some beets coming up. Some radishes coming up in there. All in all, everything's pretty rough. Alright, so when I got the squash bugs, I went to the internet, of course, because that's what I do, to try to figure some things out. And I'm just going to share with you some internet myths that I have found. One is that oregano, companion planting oregano, will help keep the squash bugs away. Well, there's oregano, which was in the bed before the squash, and there's no squash left because this is the first bed that got killed. Internet myth number 2, squash bugs will not bother cucumbers. Yeah, they covered them up as soon as they started to get leaves on them. And they've moved on. Dead. Dead, dead, dead. Internet myth number 3, squash bugs do not like butternut squash. Not true. In fact, they killed all my vines. All my butternut vines were some of the first vines that they killed. They also got my pumpkins as soon as they broke ground. So my advice is do not let them get this bad before you try to do something with them. So even though it's about too late to deal with this problem, well, actually I've found them on my tomatoes and stuff, so I'm going to still try to get rid of them as much as I can. I've chosen to get some diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth only works when it's dry, and it isn't a quick fix, but it also isn't toxic poison like Sevin. What it does is it works down into the joints. It cuts into the shells and basically dehydrates the bugs. So that is what we're going to try. So a couple of things I'm going to say about the diatomaceous earth. They don't like it at all. When it's wet, when it's dry is when it's most effective, but it will dry back out and become effective again. If it rains, you're going to have to reapply, so make sure that you get enough to reapply. I feel like the less escape route they have, the better off it works. So I pulled it out. I left enough to keep them occupied and pulled everything else out. And then you want to make sure that you sprinkle around, so if you don't get them directly, they have to crawl through it to get away. And we'll see. I put some on last night, and you could see the amount of squash bugs that were still here yesterday. I mean, they are just everywhere. But so this is my second application, and I will continue to apply it every day until my garden is dead or the squash bugs are. One more thing to note, if you're going to throw your stuff on the compost that could have squash bugs left in it, you want to make sure that you're either hot composting or you're turning it, especially at least once or twice during the winter, to expose those bugs and kill them. They will overwinter in compost or in your beds, so you want to do everything you can to minimize that. Alright, so a side note for the DE right here. Obviously, it's a very, very fine powder. You don't want to breathe it in, so you don't want to put it down in a way that it's going to blow back in your face when it's windy. If you have sensitive skin, you might want to wear gloves. You can use a number of different things. You can use sifters. You can use empty baby powder containers to spread it, particularly if you have sensitive skin. I spread it by hand. It doesn't bother me, but I can tell when I've spread it, so I can feel it until I wash it off. So take from that what you will. It is safe for pets, it's safe for humans, it's safe for food. You just want to be sure that you're not inhaling the powder, right? And that you're protecting your skin if you have sensitive skin. On the plus side, my peppers are doing pretty good. And still putting on. And still blooming. And still being awesome. So you have to look at the bright side. Alright, so garden fencing, which from a distance you can't see, but when you get up on it you can see it. This fencing, we were actually running short on money, and we needed to get a fence around the garden. So what we bought was what's called wildlife netting or bird netting. And I will tell you that it has an added benefit of catching snakes. So as long as it's touching the ground, snakes get caught up in it and don't get in your garden. Now we have had 5 that we've caught this year in the fence, including 2 copperheads. Unfortunately, the other 3 were good snakes that, you know, could have helped us out, but So if you live in a snaky area, we have a lot of copperheads around here, and that's kind of what we're worried about, is, you know, getting on a copperhead out here. It would be worth investing in. I think we paid 10 bucks a roll for it at Lowe's, and we put ours the full length, so it's all the way like 6 foot up. You wouldn't need to do that necessarily. You could just run some along the bottom edge, but we are a testament to the fact that it will catch snakes and keep snakes out of your garden. Alright, so that is it for garden tour number 9. There's not a whole lot going on in the garden, but I'm hoping that the experiences that I've had with some issues can help somebody out. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm off to work in the garden.